If you've known me for a while now, you would know that I'm a big fan of the racing genre, be it the realistic ones or the arcade/kart-like racers. I mean, that's the main draw about any kart racing game in general, right? Half of it is because of the kart racing genre itself, but the other half is the franchise involved in it. So when the Sonic universe and the Sega multiverse in general decided to take their hand on a racing game, at least a modern one anyway, I was all for it. And that's what this video is going to be about, the modern Sonic racing games. Now, disclaimer, I'm only going to be talking about these 3 Sonic racing games. I know there are many more, but these are the only 3 I want to talk about. And another disclaimer, I'm not going to go in depth with these games. I'm not going to go through the intricacies of it all. I'm just going to talk about them in a more broader sense, how I generally feel about them, what I like about them, what I disliked about some parts of it. So yeah, that's about it. And with that, let's ride. And the first game we're going to talk about is
Sonic and SEGA All-Stars Racing!
Well, there, you said it, alright. And honestly, I'm so happy I'm playing this again. Because recently, I just found my old Xbox 360, along with the old games I used to grow up playing with. Oh, you've come back to me! Give me a hug! Ow! And one of those games was this one, Sonic and SEGA. This is the reason why I'm able to talk about it now. And my god, playing it again for this video, this is nostalgia to the max, ladies and gentlemen. This was all before I became the freak I am now! That sounds sad. I'll tell you what really sells this game nowadays. If you are a huge Sonic fan or Sega fan in general, this game's gonna make you really happy. This game screams Sega. You know that certain feeling, that certain aura that Sonic and other Sega IPs emit? Yeah, you feel that here in this game. And I gotta say, it just looks gorgeous. I mean, everything just looks so pleasing to the eye. The colors are rich and vibrant. The vehicles themselves, to see this again after so long, it makes me want to cry, but I'm a man, and a man does not cry. And I think that's what I love about this game first and foremost, the actual vehicles themselves for that particular character. Some are strange, some are cool, and some are just downright badass. But enough about that. How does it actually play? Mostly alright. I'm saying this now, of course, because we've now played much more refined kart racing games. There's definitely been a lot of upgrades from this game since then. But still, going back to this game and playing it for what it is, it's actually alright. That's a funny thing about it. We are so used to modern kart racing games nowadays having a gimmick, you know? Something that changes the kart racing formula. But this game, it is honestly quite a generic kart racer. It's not trying to provide like a new perspective on how you play racing games. No. It's just trying to be another kart racing game, but this time its main focus are the Sonic and Sega IPs. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm happy with that. In fact, I was quite surprised how much I'm loving the simplicity of it. I will say this though, I did find it a bit annoying that when you just simply scrape the sides, there would most likely be a chance that you would just bounce off, like your car's made of rubber. Because I'm recording this for this video's purpose, I've actually gone out of the way now to play as the other characters. And that's a new thing for me, considering that the way how I used to play these games back then, before any YouTube shenanigans, I usually just stick solely to just the favorite characters. Now this may be due to me playing Shadow the Hedgehog almost exclusively and a lot back in my old days of playing this, but I believe Shadow could be an overpowered character in this game. I mean, no joke, I was able to easily, and I mean easily, win most races with Shadow the Hedgehog. Yeah, with other characters, I actually am having a harder time trying to score first place. Most of my memories spent playing this game were mostly of me playing as Shadow the Hedgehog. So when I started playing as the other characters, I was like, oh, okay, it's a little bit different now. What is car? What is track? Who am I? Who are you? But I quickly got the hang of it, although some characters I was like, okay, I don't like driving them at all. You know the ones where their vehicles are basically hovering using, I don't know, whatever technology their vehicle uses? They feel very flimsy, honestly. I like my vehicles to be nimble and quick, with a very good amount of handling, to be honest. Which is what the motorcycles are. I believe the motorcycles are my most favorite type of vehicle in this game. They turn left and right more easily, their charging time for a boost is a lot shorter, so you're able to get boosts a lot quicker, and an added bonus, if you push up and down constantly, you can make the characters do a wheelie. Now if they successfully done a wheelie, they get to have an extra boost. Oh yeah, this one, the air tricks. Now, in this game, the air trick was a tad bit different. It's not like the modern ones where you get to flip and flip like it's a skateboard. No. Back in this game, in order to earn boost, you need to press the drift button in the air, and then that character will do some cool animation or whatever, and then when they're done with that animation, that counts as a charge boost. This is an annoying feature, and this is one of the things I don't like about this game, because you don't really know how long the animation for that trick really is. Some of them may take longer than you want them to be, and you end up not getting the boost because they haven't finished it quickly enough, and some of them are just like, yeah, that's it, and it's randomized. You can't really gauge enough now when are you gonna do the boost and when not. Also, there are the
All-Star! It's going All-Star! That's down the hatches! Sonic goes All-Star!
You may have noticed I rarely have footage of
All-Star!
That is because you can only get
All-Star!
if you are doing extremely poorly. So if you are at least decent at this game, you may not get the
All-Star!
And I don't mean to brag, but I rarely, and I mean rarely, got the
All-Star!
There were only very few times that I got it.
All-Star goodness on the track! Jackie Bryant goes All-Star! Talking about speedy fists of fury!
The other time was deliberate, just to get an
All-Star!
for Shadow the Hedgehog.
Shadow unleashes his Chaos Spear! That is some dead-eye shooting out there!
And that's a shame because I like their
All-Star!
all of them are fun.
Jed, we're now entering an All-Star zone!
Also, I have to take mention of the theme song, So Much More by Bentley Jones. I love this song. It's nostalgic for me. It's one of my more favorite songs for the Sonic and Sega franchise in general. I love this song. It's good to be hearing it again. And yeah, that's how I honestly feel about Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing. It's not my most favorite though. I just like it. I like it a lot more than most people would expect me to. And honestly, I'm just glad that I'm able to play this game again after so long of being away from it. So yeah, I like Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing.
Witness the might of my power!
Now this next game. This is a bit of a game changer.
Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform!
This game. Oh, this game!
I love this game!
Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed is one of the best racing games I've ever played. I am not joking. It is one of my all-time favorite racing games out there. If not my most favorite racing game out there. I am not joking. This game really changed the way how I saw kart racing games in general. There's a reason why the word transformed is in the title. You see, the major gimmick about this game now is that your vehicle now transforms into two other vehicles. What was once just only now a road vehicle is now also a water vehicle and an air vehicle. That transformation in itself is incredibly fun to witness. It is literally cool, epic, mesmerizing to see your vehicle change into another one similar to it or one entirely from it. And that's the thing, it not just looks different now, but it plays differently. That's another added factor. You are no longer driving a car that just turned into a boat, you are now driving a boat. It actually plays and feels like driving a boat, which sounds horrible to be honest, but in this case, it's actually very fun. And the same thing goes when it turns into a plane. It actually feels like you're driving a plane. It feels like you're driving 3 different vehicles. You choose one, you get 3! Deal or no deal? Deal! Granted, the idea of racing through water and air is nothing new, honestly. The first one that did it, I believe, was an N64 game called Diddy Kong Racing. So that in itself is nothing new. In fact, Mario Kart later got onto the whole idea by also allowing your car to drive in the water and sort of glide in the air in Mario Kart 7. So in honesty, the idea of driving in a different terrain is nothing new. However, the way how Sonic Transformed does it is what makes me a fan of this game. It's not just your vehicle that transforms. The terrain in some of the tracks, they also transform. And it's fun. It is pure fun. I love this.
Whoa!
Also, a nice little fact here, if you are in first place, in some of the tracks, you can get to see why the track changed to begin with. There's a story-driven element, and that's what makes the track's terraforming so amazing. Like, there's a story going on in that track, and it just so happens that your race is happening within that story. There is something going on in the background, and it's affecting the track you are racing on. Ever wondered why there's so many splash aheads? Well, someone shot a laser out there, and now the tide is against you! That's what's so amazing about this game. You feel like you're doing a lot. That's the thing. The way how it does water sections, air sections, I find it better than the way how, let's say, Mario Kart does it. Honestly, in Mario Kart 8, when you're going through water sections, you are still in some ways just driving an ordinary kart. The only thing different now is that your kart just out the propeller. And maybe there's a bit of like a physics change, but the change is very small. There is a bit more change when you're gliding in the air, but these gliding sections don't feel that open-ended compared to the way how you drive a plane in Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform. There is one problem though, and this is probably the reason why many people do not consider this the best racing game out there. It has to do with the changing of the controls based on that vehicle. That sudden shift between land controls to boat controls to plane controls and vice versa may feel a bit unorthodox or a little bit too much of a change for others. In other words, there's a learning curve into playing this. If you do not know what you're doing, you will actually have a bad experience, honestly. You will crash a lot, you will feel like you don't have proper control a lot, you will be frustrated, and this may not be that fun for some people, honestly. Maybe that's the reason why there's not much of a change when you go on water or when you go in the air, because they want to keep the experience streamlined. They want the transition to be more smooth than what's happening in Sonic Transform. I remember when I first played this game, I was really having a hard time trying to change that feeling from land controls to water controls and then to air controls. I actually had a hard time. It took me a while to get used to it, but because I'm such a huge Sonic fan and racing fan in general, and I just love what this game's trying to do, I just tried to learn. I'm still not a master at it, but I could definitely tell you I've gotten more used to it than before. I'm not joking when I'm saying that this is one of my most favorite racing games of all time. I'm not joking. I really hold this game to such a high regard despite all of its flaws. Now, here's the thing. Just because I am in love with this game, that doesn't mean I think it's perfect. I just pointed out how unorthodox the experience may be. There's also that other thing. The game isn't really that fully polished. Some areas feel a bit glitchy, some places feel a bit off. There's also some other things I may not like for example, the looks and everything about it don't look as good as Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing. In the previous game, the colors look vibrant, everything looks vibrant. And here, it looks a bit washed out. This is also another mixed bag for me. While I am happy with most of the new additions to the roster, I am quite sad that some of the characters in the old game didn't come back for this one. However, there are new additions to them, and I like these additions. For example, the Knights characters are available now. What was once just a person holding the flag is now a roster in this game. There's also Joe Musashi from the Shinobi series. There's the Skies of Arcadia guy. There's another Space Channel 5 character. There's also two added additions that are weird. One of them I'm really weirded out, the other I'm okay with. The one that I'm really weirded out is Danica Patrick. Yeah, I didn't know who she was prior to playing this game, and I will be honest, I find her addition quite weird. But I like the look of her vehicle, so I don't mind. The other weird addition that I happen to personally like is Wreck-It Ralph. Now this one, while it does look weird, it actually does make kind of sense. You see, this game was being released also around the same time Wreck-It Ralph the movie was about to be released. And the premise here is that the main character, Ralph, is unhappy with himself and his role in the game. So he goes to other games to prove something to himself and to others. The in-joke here is that Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform is one of those games. Company and business-wise, it's more of like an agreement thing, because one of the main cameo appearances is Sonic himself. He was a highlighted cameo appearance. And so, in order to pay homage to that, they allowed one of Disney's characters to be in the upcoming Sonic game. So it fits all in well. It makes more sense. So yeah. Another mixed bag I have is the fact that some of the vehicles here, I don't like the changes they made. I mean, don't get me wrong, some changes I do prefer in this game. I much prefer Sonic's vehicle in Transform than in Sega All-Star Racing. But some... Well, I prefer the older one. Case in point, Shadow. Don't get me wrong, it's still pretty cool. It still has the gun theme, it still looks very military to pay reference to Shadow's military background. I still like that, and it's still pretty cool nonetheless. But I'm gonna be honest, it does not beat the Dark Rider. But don't get me wrong, I like this, and of course when it changes into a boat form and then into its plane form, I really start to like them now. But I will be honest, nothing beats the original one. However, I do understand why they've changed it, because your vehicle has to be a bit larger in order to accommodate for the transformation abilities. I still prefer the old vehicles though, but you know what? It's still fun for me to play as them. It's still fun, don't get me wrong, it's fine. Plus though, the transformation abilities of your vehicles incentivizes me to actually play as the other characters, because I want to see now what their vehicles will look like in their boat form and plane form. That's how addicting this game is. That's how alluring this game is. That's how amazing this game is. Also, the air tricks are now the ones we are used to now seeing in Sonic racing games. It's the one where you flip and dip your kart all the way. So it's pretty cool, and I prefer this. The All-Star! Though... they're okay. This is another one of those times where I prefer the last one. In this one, the ultimates now are just every character immediately turning into their plane forms regardless of what terrain you're in, added now with a little extra effect around them, each of them just differently themed for that character, but that's about it. It's not really that varietable or unique now compared to the last game, but still, it's alright. And considering how hard this game is, especially in expert mode, you're going to appreciate them a lot more, and you're definitely going to appreciate the fact now that you can more easily get an All-Star now compared to the last game. There's a lot of places in this game that's definitely a huge upgrade from the last one, but there are some things that I still do prefer in the last game than in this one. But honestly, those things that I do not like about this game are very small nitpicks compared to the larger scheme of how much I love this game. I really am not joking when I say Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform is one of my most favorite racing games of all time. Yes, and I say that after playing games like Crash Team Racing and Mario Kart 8, yes, I really put Transform in a higher regard. And I know that's weird to say considering that other games may be in some ways better than this one. But if there's something you should know about me, I don't love something because it's better or the best. No. It's my favorite simply for what it is, regardless if it's better or not. And that is this game. Despite it not being perfect, it's this game that I had the most fun playing with. And that's why I love Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform. It is literally, at the time of me making this video, my most favorite racing game of all time.
Finally, it gets interesting.
Sonic and SEGA All-Star Racing was released in 2010. Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform was released in 2012. Team Sonic Racing was released in 2019, so almost nearly a decade has passed, and a lot has happened with the Sonic franchise since that time. So when Team Sonic Racing was released in 2019, I was personally excited for it. I was a tad bit disappointed now that it was only Sonic characters, but to be honest, I did not mind considering that we're going to have more Sonic characters in there. Like for example, I've always wanted to play as Silver the Hedgehog. Silver the Hedgehog is one of my other favorite Sonic the Hedgehog characters, so to see him finally playable now in a Sonic racing game is great for me, honestly, it's great. I also like the theme song now of this game. I even love its remix in the main menu. Now, the main thing that I really love about Team Sonic Racing is the ability to customize your vehicles. Now, I was a bit disappointed that someone like Shao the Hedgehog no longer even drives a vehicle that looks like from the government. Everyone's vehicle now is in the same theme mindset, like how Sonic was in the previous two games, where you just have now a car that is obviously themed after that character. What saves this somewhat, for me anyway, is the ability to customize it. This I love. You know what my color theme is going to be. You know what I'm going to do. You know it. You know I'm going to do something like that. And doesn't it look gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous! Everything else is a bit of a mixed bag for me, and that's how I feel with Team Sonic Racing as a whole. The new gimmick for Team Sonic Racing is in the title. Team. Let's put it bluntly. Team Sonic Racing is essentially Sonic Heroes, but a racing game. That's essentially what it is. A lot of your time spent now is racing while managing your other team to help them also win the race. It's no longer enough to just simply get first place and then that's it. You also have to make sure that your other teammates do also well in the race. You do well, but they did poorly, your overall score is gonna do poorly. You're gonna end up losing. And there are a lot of ways to actually help the team. If you are ahead than most of your teammates, then you will leave a trail line that if the other teammates go in, they get to charge up the boost, and then when they leave, they get to boost ahead. You could pass along items, you could receive items. Basically, there's a lot of little things now added to the traditional kart racing gameplay that makes you help your teammates now, and vice versa. And all of that fills up an ultimate meter. And if you get it all, you get to do an ultimate, where all three of you just basically get a golden aura and just go fast, just blistering fast. I will be honest, this is kinda boring. I would have much preferred if each character had their own unique abilities and this and that. But considering this is a team-based ability, all of them just simply get a golden aura. That is it. Honestly, I would have preferred the previous games. And that's honestly how I feel about this game overall. To me, this whole team-based ability, it's fun for the first 1 or 2 hours of playing this game, but it starts to become a chore, honestly. This new gimmick doesn't feel that much impactful. That's the thing. It just feels like it's just another added addition that I can live without it, honestly. On paper, it sounds awesome, but once you actually play it, it's just alright. It's nothing atrocious, it's nothing meh, but it's nothing great or good as well. It's just alright. Now, granted, yes, I am playing this alone, and this is a team racing game. Obviously, I have to play this with others. So maybe my lack of enthusiasm for Team Sonic Racing may be due to the fact that I'm not really playing this game with others. I think if you play it with others, the mechanics become a lot more fun. Although, you could say that with almost any game. Playing any game with another person is obviously going to make it more fun. There are some exceptions, but most of the time, playing with others with any game is a lot more fun. Even the tracks themselves, some tracks look good. Others look, I don't know how to explain it. It's not bad, but it's not that pleasing to look at. Funny enough, there's now a story in the game, but the story is so forgetful. I actually forgot what it was. I'm just looking at the tracks, the characters, the gimmicks, and the overall feel of driving. And to be honest, I just feel alright with this one. Honestly, I didn't feel that much of an incentive to play this game. Even though this game is solid enough, it's alright, but that's about it. It's alright. And I feel bad about saying that because, technically speaking, there's nothing wrong with a game being alright. Not every game has to be better than something else or even the best. It just has to be what it is. But honestly, what it is nothing that amazing to me. It's just alright, that's the thing. I feel much more inclined to play Sonic and SEGA All-Star Racing over Team Sonic Racing. And that's weird considering that Team Sonic Racing mechanically has more gimmicks and, technically speaking, a more polished racing game than Sonic and SEGA All-Star Racing. Team Sonic Racing is in some ways the most polished in terms of driving the vehicles compared to the previous two games. But in the end, I prefer playing those previous two games over this one. That's how I feel. Team Sonic Racing is just an alright game to me in the end. It's neither bad nor good. It's just alright. Now, if this is your favorite racing game, go ahead, let it be your favorite. I may not find it as amazing to play as maybe you do, but that does not mean you are wrong for loving this game. If this is your personal favorite racing game of all time, then just never mind what I said, love it all you can. I may not understand why this is your favorite racing game, but I do understand what it's like to have a favorite. If you love this game more than any other racing game, then go right ahead, love it. I'm just happy that you love something in the end. But for me personally, this game is just alright to me. And that's it. That's how I feel about those three main Sonic racing games. Sonic and SEGA All-Star Racing, I like it. Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform, you know how much I love this game, and you know that I put this on my top racing games. And Team Sonic Racing, I am just alright with it. Just alright. So that's how I feel about them. And I can't wait what will the next racing game be about. Well, I didn't have to wait that long. Now, this was meant to be the end of the video, despite me being well aware that there's a new racing game coming out, Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. And it was originally planned that I'll just briefly talk about how I feel about the new racing game based on that teaser trailer alone. And here were my initial thoughts. I will be honest, I was both excited but also cautiously skeptical. I already pointed out my mixed and rather indifferent thoughts on Team Sonic Racing as a whole. Well, based on that teaser trailer alone, seeing that car from Team Sonic Racing got me worried, because I was afraid that Sonic Racing CrossWorlds will be a whole lot like Team Sonic Racing. So I was excited, because it's a new game obviously, but I was very skeptical. And that was going to be the end of that. I would end that video right here and continue on. That is until this moment. Holy shit. This game looks good. It looks really good. The gameplay looks good. Everything I saw in that trailer looks good. Almost every initial fear that I had for this game has completely washed away. Everything looks good, and I mean good. When I saw this trailer, I was excited. Completely excited. I could not wait now to get my hands on playing this game, especially after seeing one small detail there. That is right. The extreme gears are back. It is true that one little detail in the background wasn't for nothing. It really was a tease that extreme gears are finally coming back, and I couldn't be all the more happy! Oh, I miss the Sonic Riders games, man. I miss them so much. So to see some form of it back in this game, you are making me a happy man. After seeing this trailer, I could not wait to get my hands on this game. And that honestly annoyed me a bit, because now I have to wait for months, possibly nearly the entire year, just for this game. If only I could play it early, you know? Just a small snippet of it. Well, sign me up! We're off! I have never done something like this before. In fact, I have never played a game this early before. And it's a Sonic game. But how could I not? I need to try this game out. Yes, I may be forced to play multiplayer, and if you know me, I rarely play multiplayer. But that's a small price to pay if I'm able to play this early. And so, I waited. And waited, and wait. Yeah, you know I got chosen. I mean, I made a video about my initial experiences with this game. And if you want to see that video, the link is in the description below or somewhere connected to this video. I don't know, you find it. Now, this section right here is quote-unquote a sequel to such video. Because now I'm going to be talking about the game based on my experiences after I put more hours into the closed network test. Now, obviously, what I'm going to say right now about this game isn't definitive. This was just based on a very small snippet of the game. What did I think about the game thus far? Based solely on the closed network test. Fun. Fun. Absolute fun. After playing this game for I have no life, I could definitively say that I am supremely, and I mean supremely excited for this game now. To put it bluntly, this game is chaos. Absolute chaos. Everything about this game is fast, frantic, insanity. This game actually reminds me more of arcade games I used to play, well, in the arcades. And I say that in the most positive way possible because I love arcade games. The controls and the very feeling of controlling the vehicles feel more like actual karts now than previous Sonic Racing games. In other words, this game feels like it's trying to lean in more into the kart racing genre than what previous Sonic Racing games were doing. In the previous games, while you still can label them as kart racers, the actual vehicles felt more like genuine cars than karts. They were weighty and took a bit of time going left to right. In this game, they are lighter, more easily now being able to go left and right, like genuine karts. And you know what? I like that. I welcome that, because it fits in well with the whole chaotic nature of this game. Also, the way how the game looks. Oh, the way how the game looks is just so gorgeous. Oh my god, it looks so gorgeous! The colors look so vibrant and rich. Everything about it looks lively and just so, well, alive. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. There's even some elements in this game that I'm quite familiar in seeing with other kart racers, such as the main control now is the kart racing control, where the gas button is the X button and the drifting is the right trigger button, with using items as left trigger. However, there is an option to change the controls into Team Sonic Racing controls, you know, where the right trigger is now the gas and the left trigger is the drift, with X being the use of items now. Yeah, I prefer this one. When I play this game, I'm gonna stick to the Team Sonic Racing controls. Also, another element is that now you can make any character drive any vehicle. No longer is it that one vehicle is tied to one character. No, now you can make them drive anything you choose them to. Granted, it does lose a uniqueness of one vehicle for that one character, like in previous Sonic Racing games, but this change is a small one and a nice change of pace, to be honest, so I don't mind. Plus, the customization of the vehicle is now back from Team Sonic Racing, now with more added elements, like placing stickers, something I'm very familiar with when playing Need for Speed-like games. Also, the boat and plane forms are back from Transformed. And I'm very happy about that. To be able to drive on different terrains again is very welcoming to see again, honestly. Although I will be honest, just like my very first experiences with Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed, it took me quite a while to get used to the controls in here. Yeah, the controls aren't that similar from Sonic Transformed. In here, they are a tad bit different. In Transformed, they opted for a more realistic approach. In here, they're all arcade-like. Snappier, faster, you know? In the boat forms, the unique feature is that when you drift, when you let go of the drift button, you can jump, allowing you to perform air tricks. Oh, the air tricks. We have to get to the air tricks soon. And in the plane form, well, I had a bit of a harder time getting used to the plane controls here because you need to not just get used to drifting left and right, but also up and down now, especially if you want to make tighter turns. But once you get the hang of it, it's very addicting to play. I will be honest though, and this is just a small nitpick, to be honest. It's just a very small nitpick. The way how the vehicles transform from car to boat or from car to plane isn't really as cool as the one in Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed. I will be honest. While in Transform, depending on the character and the vehicle itself, the whole body literally transforms into an entirely different vehicle altogether. But in this game, the only thing that ever does transform are the wheels. And I will be honest, I found that a tad bit disappointing. However, understandable. Considering that you're able now to customize your vehicle, it's going to be very hard to implement a unique boat or plane form with the customizations you made for that vehicle. So might as well only just change the wheels. So yeah, in the end, it is a bit disappointing that they don't transform like in Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed, but I understand why they went for this route instead. So yeah, no biggie. Now the air tricks. I did mention the air tricks, and oh my god, the air tricks. The air tricks initially, in their standard form, are quite fun to use. However, once you place the speedy air trick gadget, which by the way are also a new thing, they sort of add small changes to your gameplay. But if you add the speedy air tricks gadget, my god, do you become an air trick master. I love performing these speedy air tricks, man. It was so addicting to just go ham and crazy. It made me want to always find ways to jump or go in the air just to perform air tricks again. Oh my god. You know what performing the air tricks kind of remind me of? A combination of three things from Sonic games. Sonic Transformed, you know, flipping your car around like it's nothing. Sonic Generations, you know, when Sonic does the air tricks. And Sonic Riders, when you do all these twists and turns. And now that I said that, it now makes much more sense why air tricks are the way they are in this game. Because if you remember, Extreme Gears are now another vehicle you could drive in this game. They weren't available in the closed network test, which is a bummer, but still, their addition now makes the air tricks a lot more sense. And I can't wait to try out the Extreme Gear, especially if you can customize them. Oh my god, to customize your own Extreme Gear? Oh my god! There is also now another brand new gimmick in this game, and that is the leading racer in the first lap gets to choose what track the entire race will go to next. That's right, the track changes entirely mid-race, and that is amazing. Imagine the amount of combinations, the different amount of worlds that we combine in one race when we get the full game. That thought alone makes me severely excited for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. I will be honest though, I did find it a tad bit disappointing that you only get to change the track in the second lap. Once you reach the third lap, you're back to the first track. I thought you could change track every lap. That was a tad bit disappointing, to be honest, but I don't want to be too much of a downer. The fact that I'm just able to change track mid-race to begin with is already happy for me, so I don't want to push it. I'll tell you though one thing that I did find quite annoying, and I hope they fix this in the final release. The item balancing. Now, I have no issues with the items themselves. In fact, a lot of them I'm quite happy with. To see that Rocket Punch item from Sonic and SEGA All-Star Racing makes me happy, honestly. And seeing new items like that shuriken that could cut your car in half, and being able to transform your vehicle into a monster truck, wow. I love these returning and new items. I love them. My biggest issue is not really with the items, but the item usage. I never had this problem in my first few hours of playing this game, which is what this video is all about. And I didn't realize it at the time, but half of the other players are not really players at all. Half of them were bots. So maybe that's why I had an easier time. However, as my rank got higher, the bots seem to appear less. There are more genuine players now. And this is where things start to get a little too chaotic. I know I said I love the chaos, but there were points in which the chaos was a little too much. No joke, and this happens mostly during the final lap. I would just suddenly get barraged by a bunch of items, left and right, to the point where all my progress that I've done thus far in the first and second lap were all for naught. And that, honestly, is very annoying. Now, this isn't anything new. Mario Kart is notorious for doing something like that, where you do so well throughout the race, only for someone to pull up that one item or multiple items that will just severely literally take away your first place and someone else grabbing it in here. Now, to be honest, I really didn't experience that myself. I don't play much the multiplayer sides of games. However, I did experience it a lot here, and I experienced it a whole lot, to the point where I genuinely got annoyed. So many items were being used in the final lap that it made me wish they would just stop spamming said items. Why are there so many shurikens? Why are there so many monster trucks? I don't know if this notorious side is worse in Mario Kart or worse here. I really don't know. But I will say I felt genuinely annoyed, especially in the higher ranks. I now rarely got even to third place. And if I was really unlucky, I would get last place. Last place! My god! So many items being used at the same time. There's no time to breathe. It's like it doesn't matter how well you do in the first and second lap. Your ending result is now dictated by the final lap, where everything just becomes a complete barrage of nonsense. I feel like there's too much power given to these players. Too many items, especially the powerful ones, to the point now where it's less about skill and more about luck now. Look, I don't mind the game using a bit of luck. I am okay with it when things are free for all. I don't mind that. But when it leans too much into the luck side of things, I get annoyed, because now it's telling me that it doesn't matter if you're good. If I decide you win, then I decide you win. If not, loser! Now, I will be honest, I feel kind of silly complaining about this, considering that this is coming from someone who isn't that used to playing multiplayer, especially in the racing genre. So honestly, I'm not that familiar with the meta of online racing games. I just know through hearsay, that's it. So I don't know if what I'm experiencing with this whole insanity of too many items being used at once is nothing new, or it is a genuine problem that needs to be fixed. I don't know. But this is the problem I have with this game thus far, and I feel the only way to do that is to add more, I don't know, moderation into the item usage. Then again, take everything I complain with a grain of salt, because in the end, what really matters is that I can't wait to see more of this game. After playing the closed network test, I am supremely excited for this game, and I've never been this excited for a racing game before. I am not joking. The last time I've been this excited for a racing game was Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform. I am not joking! The really arcade-like gameplay is so addicting to play through. It made me want to play again and again, to try one more round again and again and again. And I have kind of done that because I've played it all the way up to the end of the test. Yep, I actually kept on playing until I got this notification telling me that the test is over. Off. If you think about it, Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is quote-unquote like a Generations type game where it takes the best out of each previous Sonic racing game and adds new elements to it to make one truly amazing racing game. Now obviously it's too early to tell. This is all based on just a snippet, but I'm already this excited based on a snippet. And I hope my excitement is warranted and rewarded, because my god, I can't wait to see more of this game. If I'm already this much excited based on just a snippet of the game, how much more excited I will be when the full game gets released. This may end up being one of my new favorite racing games of all time. Now, will it beat Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed? I honestly doubt that. There's something about Transformed that now I put up as a classic. I highly doubt, well not really, I just doubt that this game will be a whole lot better than Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed. I don't think this game will take its place as my most favorite racing game of all time. But it might? No, I highly doubt it. Come on, this is Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed. There's no way. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of little things that I just basically prefer in Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed over Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. With that being said though, I really did enjoy the more arcade-like nature of this game. I mean, there are technically a lot more features in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds over Sonic Transformed, but then again, does that automatically make it a better game? But its controls now are a lot more arcade-like, a lot faster, more frantic, compared to Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform's more realistic take on the vehicles. But does that make it better? Remember, I still love Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform, even though there are other, better kart racer games out there with much more features. I've got a personal dilemma in my hands now. Have we found our ultimate question, ladies and gentlemen? You know what? Screw it. Let's make it official. Forget Sonic Racing CrossWorlds versus the new Mario Kart game. Forget about that. I love them both. I'm excited for both. No, the real battle is within the Sonic world itself. And this inner war is revolved around one simple question. After playing the full game of Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, will Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform still hold the crown of being my most favorite racing game of all time? Or will Sonic Racing CrossWorlds take that crown? I highly doubt it, honestly. There's just something so classical and timeless about Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed. The best I believe it could do is be my second most favorite racing game of all time. But it's too early to tell, so we'll just have to wait and see. Overall, I am extremely excited for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. And there you have it. Finally, it's the end of the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe, tell me which one's your favorite, and I'll see you— Not again!